Hello, my name is Jade Lauren, aka Ashanti Ra, and I'm coming to you today to talk just a little bit about myself and about my new book, Redemption, Grace, and Evolution. This is the first of a series of 3 books in the Divinity in Motion book series. It is my confirmed belief that we all are divinity in motion, celestial beings having a human experience. And I'm sure many of you listening in the audience now may have heard of just since probably the 1950s, 60s. It's been around since forever, actually. The ancient mystics alluded to the fact that we are spiritual beings having a human expression. And if you follow your Wayne Dyers or your Deepak Chopras, and many in the same genre, they also affirm this. I would like to suggest something a little bit different, and that is that we're celestial beings having a human experience. Our origin is in the stars. And so is our final destination, if it can be called a final destination, but you're going to have to read my books to find out where I think that is. As an introduction to myself, my journey began as soon as I arrived. I've always been a very wise child, a very observant child. And it caused me a little bit of problems because, people that came in contact with me when I was 8, 9, and 10 years old really did not know what to make of me. What to do. I was not like your typical child. And I really was observant. And I was quiet for the most part because being observant, I did not do a lot of talking. However, I did a lot of writing. And I would do poetry at that time. I would write down in my poems what exactly I needed to say, what I needed to express, what I was feeling. And unfortunately, a lot of those earlier poems that I wrote were lost due to moving around, traveling around, going to different places, even letting friends of mine read them. And they've become lost into the universe. I am going to be writing a book of poetry, and it is my firm knowing that a lot of those poems will come back to me, as nothing is ever lost in the universe. I simply need to tap into that time period and bring forth that wisdom and those ideas that I gleaned so long ago. But we're talking about right now redemption, grace, and evolution. This is my second major book. I wrote my first book back in 2009, Life by Design. And at that time, as I think the universe is a trinity, that book also is a trinity. I talk about understanding that you create your own reality, moving, and once you understand that, moving into realigning your life, getting rid of the emotional blackmailers in your life, and then finally anchoring in the light of God, anchoring in that wisdom, anchoring in that connection. And so in Redemption, Grace, and Evolution, we sort of pick back up on that theme, taking it even further. That once you've cleaned out everything, you're now ready for the second step. As a celestial being, no matter how many incarnations that you have, the fact that you have chosen to be on a planet, the planet Earth, the planet of manifestation of thought, you're learning, you're growing, you're learning how to harness your thoughts and harness your emotions. That's why you're here. And you have a grand purpose, I assure you. So in 1986, as I was traveling in my life's journey, my spiritual journey, and really getting comfortable with who I am, which took a minute, as with many of my listeners today. But I really reached mine in 1986. That's when I became firmly on my path and understanding exactly the who, what, and where of myself. Being an intuitive and a clairvoyant, I, at first, like many of my fellow travelers, was using my gifts in order to help people understand where they were, as we say, understanding what their life experiences are, understanding why they're in the position that they're in. But I quickly came to understand that that really didn't fulfill me because we come with the same questions, do we not? Am I going to get married? Am I going to be wealthy? Is my husband cheating? Is my wife cheating on me? Am I going to get this job? And people came to me and it just centered on the same things over and over and over again. And I came to realize that this is not helping with a lot of my clients because, of course, they get that job and then they go, okay, I've got the job, I've got the house, I've got the car. Now am I going to get the man or am I going to get the woman? And this just kind of went on ad infinitum. And I simply got bored. And at the same time, I was also working on myself. I was noticing my changes, my evolution, as it were. And in 1986, I was introduced to what is now called the Silver Method. And this was a method that went into the alpha level of mind, which I found fascinating, that you could actually go in to an altered state, put yourself there, and actually visualize in a much more stronger focus those things that you wanted and then bring them to pass. And I thought, wow, this is fantastic. And so I'm going to shift my practice to people understanding, let's visualize, let's come into a consensus of what it is we want, and then let's manifest from that point. So I started working with clients back in 1986, and I started shifting myself, which led me ultimately to the 90s into going deeper into hypnotherapy or hypnosis, which has been around a very, very long time. It's got a bad rap because, like anything else, everyone is not in their integrity when they learn to do certain things. And so I went into that and was very, very successful. And I decided that I was going to focus on spiritual transformation. I wanted my clients that came to me to learn how to handle their own affairs. I did not want them tied to my apron string. I did not want them coming to me over and over and over again for the same things. I wanted them to learn how to work with themselves. As I was learning how to work with myself, moving into having a stronger level of confidence, moving out of fear, moving into a better relationship with my creator, because ultimately this is about your relationship with your creator. This is about understanding not only your purpose, but getting your relationship focused and centered and working, because the creator is within you. Everyone out here. I used to think when I first started, how I imagined it was that breath of life. I imagined Adam and Eve, for lack of a better word, and just as a point of reference, as a collective. Adam representing the collective masculine, Eve representing the collective feminine that came together and manifested an offspring. And I used to think that that breath of life that back when they saying, and God blew into Adam's nostrils and a living soul was created. And I would visualize that and I thought how fantastic that is. And then I thought that breath of life was that individual aspect of the creator. But I was always confused about that the little sentence that followed, that let us, or before, prior to Adam, let us form man in our image and likeness. And it was always the us that bothered me, that challenged me. What is the us? If the creator is the Alpha and Omega, if the creator is omniscient and omnipotent and omnipresent, what is this us? Who is it talking to? What do we not understand? And so my journey began. And I looked into various disciplines, various types of religions. And let me say here that it is my knowing that all religion serves a purpose. It does not matter where you are. It serves a purpose. The purpose should be to connect you to your source. Unfortunately, we're still dealing in human expression, and we're learning how to handle our power. And what that means is we're learning how not to impose our belief systems onto a collective group of people in order to satisfy some need within ourselves. This is a level of consciousness. We have to outgrow the need to control others. And I think this stems from the fact that we are powerful, powerful beings, and we intuitively know this. And so, because we intuitively know this, we have to outgrow the need for power and control. We have to understand true power, what that really means. We have to learn to understand the laws of manifestation. We have to learn to govern our ability. Our minds are so incredibly powerful. We are powerful, powerful beings. We are not weak by any sense of the imagination. We have been taught and trained and conditioned that we are weak. We have been conditioned that we have to be redeemed, that we have fallen from grace, and that there is no evolution other than a place of either eternal punishment or eternal gratification. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was first introduced to heaven and hell at a very early age, I thought to myself, I don't want to be bothered with either place. I cannot imagine. I mean, if you think about eternity, and that's what really got me on my path, thinking about eternity. Eternity, people, is a very long time. If you really stop and think about eternity and let your mind wrap your mind around it, such as you can, because you really can't, eternity is a concept that is, well, eternal. And so when you think about that, and I thought to myself, going back again, if the Creator is Alpha and Omega, and it needs nothing from me because it in and of itself is complete, then it certainly doesn't need me to sing Hosanna to Thee over and over and over again, forever and ever and ever, ad infinitum. What an awful use of my abilities, of my very being. Why would it need that? And when you are 9 and 10 and 11, asking these types of questions, what you are told basically is to go away, little girl, and play. It's a divine mystery. And even at that age, it made no sense to me. And so as I traveled and as I started my journey, my purpose was to understand my right relationship with the Creator and to understand my purpose for being. Now, I have always said that I'm a unicorn, a magical, mystical being. And add to that in my human expression, Peter Pan, because I love to have fun. I see no sense in life becoming a drudgery or a drag. Consequently, I stay out of a lot of dramas. I allow people to be who they are, why they are, when they are, with no real interference from me, other than if you come to me and ask me for help. So as I moved into my journey, I decided to share that because we all have a different destiny. We have a different destiny that we alone have chosen. And yes, we do. I do believe in angels and other celestial beings. Being a celestial being myself and understanding my point of origin, then it is no stretch for me to know that I have other celestial beings that have my back, that come to me when I need them. Through my dreams, at my request, I have told all of my guides and teachers, do not let me come into my garage and walk into my house and see you sitting in my living room. I personally do not want that experience. However, I have shared with all of them when I'm doing my meditations, when I'm in my quiet time, when you need to speak to me, please whisper in my ear, walk up to me in my meditations, which they very comfortably do, and I'm always glad to see them. I am clairaudient, so they speak whenever they need to, when it's urgent that I get a message. And so having that relationship, and as I start to write and as they start to speak from their vantage point, so in that sense, my work is also channeled because I am listening as I'm getting an idea or as I pose a question out to the universe as I'm writing, which is how I came to write Redemption, Grace, and Evolution. Understanding that we are celestial beings with an absolute, wonderful, complex, eternal existence. And so as you travel with me through my writings, I hope that you will also come to understand your relationship to the Creator, come to be able to define that relationship in a much, much more meaningful and deep relationship for you. So as we move, that is sort of, I don't know, how I came to be, how I came to write. The purpose of my writing is to share my journey. As I share my journey with you, it is my firm intention and my firm hope that something that I say will create an aha within you. And once you have that aha, once you put your feet firmly on the path with your Creator, understanding that you need not approach the Creator of your being with any kind of fear, with any kind of sense that you are being judged for a pattern that you were created in, an idea, a thought that was left to its own devices to come to its own evolutionary pattern of pure light and pure being that ultimately helps the universe. I hope you'll join me. I hope you will enjoy Redemption, Grace, and Evolution. You are divinity in motion. And once you obtain that perpetual shift, a paradigm shift as it were, then you will express in your humanity your complete and total divinity. Enjoy.